Special Envoy for Syria.
So, good to see you. I had the pleasure of being in the job for, I believe it's 8 weeks. You just heard my statement. You heard that I got the support I wanted from the Security Council. Obviously, as I said in my briefing to the Council, the challenges are enormous. And we all understand that my task will also, of course, be difficult. But I've started on the basis that I need to build trust, with the government in Damascus, with the opposition, but also try to build trust within the international community. And that the division we see in the international community also will have to be addressed, and that we will have to try to see how this could help us move also the process forward. And let me just also emphasize that, we are now entering into the 9th year of the conflict, and of course it's urgent for the Syrian people that we intensify our efforts to try to find a solution to this that have avoided us for too long. He's the boss.
Thank you, Farhan. Mr. Special Envoy, when you say you are seeking a common forum, can you explain to us all what do you mean by that? And on the Constitutional Committee, where are we from actually forming this committee?
Let me start with the Constitutional Committee. As I think you heard in the Council and was mentioned by the Russian ambassador, I've had extensive consultations, in particular with the Russians on this, but also in other capitals. I believe we are making progress, but there are still some unresolved issues. And we are working on the package. We need to agree on the names, but we also need to agree on the routes of procedures. So, as I said, we're making progress, but we're not there yet. When it comes to the international community, this is a work in progress. As I said, it's important to build trust, and that will also, I think, take a little while, but I feel we're moving in the right direction.
Thank you, Mr. Pedersen. Maria Hrenova, News Agency TASS. So there is clearly disagreement between Russia and Western countries on the process of reconstruction of Syria. Do you believe that the reconstruction of Syria should be dependent on a political process, or it can be started now already?
No, I think as you, I've been listening very carefully, and I hear that there are very different opinions on this. And it's pretty clear that the donors will not participate in the reconstruction before they see the beginning of a credible political process. It's not my job to go and give characters to the different international actors. So as I said, I take note of this, and I have intensive dialogue with all the parties, also on the economic and social challenges, and of course, not the least, the humanitarian needs of the Syrian people.
Ambassador Carol Avery from AFP, can I just ask to follow up on Talal's question? You floated the idea of a common forum, mentioning that there are 5 international armies fighting in Syria. What do you have in mind? Would it be reviving the ISSJ, or what
Listen,
do you think
this is a good effort that you are doing here, but I will not give any more details to you than what I gave just to the Security Council. But I hope to be able to inform you in due time on progress also on this file.
Ambassador, 2 questions. One, Assad just ventured out of Syria for the first time in, 7 years, 8 years, and visited Iran. Do you think that is significant to the post-war situation? And secondly, there's in the U.S. Congress, there's legislation effort to recognize Israel's sovereignty over the Golan. Will that help or hurt your mission?
Let me start with the last question on Golan. Obviously, the Security Council is very clear that Golan is Syrian territory. And the first aspect of 2254 is, of course, the territorial integrity of Syria. When it comes to the President Assad's visit to Tehran, I think I know just as much about that as you do. So I'm afraid that's where I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pedersen. Thank you very much. My name is Majid Gili, Ruda Media Network. One of the most difficult questions for the political process is the question of the participation of the Kurds. And so far they have been largely excluded. As you know, after the Syrian government, they are the second largest territory holder in Syria. What will you do about that? And can you give us an idea about their participation in the Constitutional Committee? Thank you.
As you all know, the Syrian Kurds are already part of the process. I have already met with the representative of the Kurds, but you are, I think, referring in particular to SDF in Northeast, and it's correct that they are not part of the political process so far. I think this could turn into be a challenge in the future, so it's important that we address this issue in a proper way.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pedersen, and we hope to see you more often here in the UN. Now, you talked about the Constitutional Committee as one element out of 5.
Yes.
And we saw with Mr. de Mistura that it was his main effort in his last months. So does this mean that you downgraded this element in your plan, or are you planning to work on these 5 elements on a parallel basis, or where is the Constitutional Committee exactly in terms of consequences?
No, I think you understood me correctly. We're doing a lot of work in parallel. We see the Constitutional Committee as one natural element of implementation of Security Council Resolution 2254, but as I said in the briefing, not the only one. And I think it's extremely important that we work on the other issues. And I was mentioning in particular building trust with the government in Syria and with the SNC, and through that try to establish a real dialogue. And as I also mentioned in the briefing, I have an agreement with the government that we will deepen that dialogue, and I have an agreement with the SNC. So what I hope we can do is to go deeper into the issues, identify areas where we agree, areas where we disagree, but also then use the commonalities to further and move the process forward. That's my ambition. Thank you.
Thanks very much, everyone.